In the post-war years, the train was starting to look tired, and most nations were hedging their bets on the skies and highways as cars became more affordable for the middle class. But Japan was bucking the global trend, much thanks to these guys. The Japanese National Railways managed to convince politicians to back plans to build the world's first high-speed network, the Shinkansen. It was no easy feat. The high-speed network would need a wider gauge of rail. Mountains were blasted through to reduce curves on the tracks, and the train, as the world knew it, would also undergo a massive facelift. There would be no locomotive. Instead, the Shinkansen would be powered by electric multiple units, evenly distributed throughout the carriages to achieve fast acceleration. Not to mention, it would have a distinctive nose tip and futuristic smooth surfaces to achieve those high speeds. The budget completely blew out, forcing the president of the Japanese National Railways to resign in 1963. But 1 year later, the critics were silenced. The first Shinkansen between the capital and Japan's second largest city, Osaka, was launched, reaching 210 kilometres an hour just days before the opening of the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, showcasing to the world that Japan was now a peaceful and economically confident country. The trip between Tokyo and Osaka used to take 6 hours and 40 minutes, but that's more than halved now. And despite the high speeds, it's pretty smooth riding for commuters, as tourists like to put to the test with the coin challenge. It didn't take long for the network to expand, transforming the entire nation and making domestic air routes virtually redundant. In the past 10 years, it has transported more than 10 billion commuters. And as for delays, well, what delays? It's not unusual to get an apology if the train is running just, well, a few seconds late. The Shinkansen has also showcased to the world Japan's cleanliness on public transport. This became a YouTube hit a few years ago when American journalist Charlie James captured cleaners finishing their meticulous work in just 7 minutes. The Shinkansen has inspired a bullet train boom. France's TGV began running in the early 80s. Germany's Intercity Express soon followed suit. And China is also on board, launching a new driverless bullet train, reaching a top speed of 350 kilometres an hour in time for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics. As for Australia, we have made a contribution of sorts. The voice of the Tokaido line between Tokyo and Osaka is Australian Donna Burke.
I think about, I'm going to hear my voice, but then I forget, and then when it comes on, it's sort of like, oh.
But as for building a high-speed network,
I rather like the idea of a very fast train.
Australia has confined countless feasibility studies to the shelves.